I'm Pinellas County Sheriff Bob Gualtieri, and we're here today to announce a new initiative in Pinellas County that responds to the epidemic of people running from the police during attempted traffic stops. As we all know, police pursuits are dangerous, especially in very densely populated counties like Pinellas County. And for those who aren't aware, Pinellas County, if you've ever driven here, you'd appreciate it, is the most densely populated county in the state of Florida. When people drive fast and they drive recklessly, they put others in harm's way, and it leads to serious injuries and death. And that's what happens when people run from the police. They drive fast and they drive reckless, and too many times it leads to innocent people, bystanders, being seriously injured and sometimes killed. The examples abound of people in Pinellas County, across the state of Florida, and across the United States running from the police pursuing those people, and it resulting in tragic consequences. The data establishes these incidents abound and that they are deadly. According to crash data from the National Highway Traffic Safety Institute, fatal crashes from police pursuits alone, so these are the pursuits involving death, not just serious injury, so just death alone, kill on average one person every single day in the United States. That's a mom, a dad, a husband, a wife, brother, or sister killed because someone made the bad decision to flee from the police. The number of police pursuits across the United States that result in death continues to rise. In 2019, there were 362 fatal crashes from police pursuits in the United States. In 2020, 455. In 2021, 525. And in 2022, 577 people died as a result of a police pursuit. That's a 40% increase in fatal traffic crashes from police pursuits between 2019 and 2022. Because of the danger and our desire to protect innocent lives, the Pinellas County Sheriff's Office significantly narrowed our pursuit policy in 2014. Now think about this, for the 6 years before the policy change in 2014, we averaged about 100 pursuits a year in the Pinellas County Sheriff's Office. In the 10 years since the policy change in 2014, the Pinellas County Sheriff's Office averages 10 pursuits a year, and last year, in 2023, in the entire agency, we only had 5 pursuits. Now, the lower number of pursuits doesn't mean that people don't flee. What it means is that we don't actively engage in dangerous, high-speed pursuits when they do flee because we value life over traffic violations and over property. We do pursue when it's worth the risk. When someone is engaged in a violent crime, they are a threat to the community, or they are engaging in extremely dangerous driving and must be stopped, we will pursue and stop that dangerous person. Unfortunately, just because we're not putting people at risk by not pursuing and the number of actual pursuits are way down, that doesn't mean people are not running from the police. They are fleeing, and quite honestly, it is out of control in Pinellas County. Multiple cars run from us every day. It's getting more and more frequent, and it's got to stop. Since January of 2022, there have been 1,042 cases where people have committed the offense of fleeing and eluding by running from a Pinellas County Sheriff's deputy when directed to stop. 1,042 times since January of 2022. And that 1,042 number is just the Pinellas County Sheriff's Office alone, and it does not include the number of times that people have run from officers of the 10 other police departments in Pinellas County. That's 1,042 times innocent people were needlessly put in harm's way because someone didn't want to be accountable for breaking the law. I'm now going to play a video for you that shows what we see and what our deputies see every single day across Pinellas County when people are directed to stop and they flee. At the end of the video, you'll see the deadly consequences. The second to last video clip you'll see in the sequence is of a crash that occurred on October 2nd, 2022 on 62nd Avenue North in St. Petersburg when 3 teenagers, ages 15 and 16, stole a car and ran from deputies. The driver crashed the car and he killed his 16-year-old friend. The last video you'll see in the clip happened on May 18th of this year at East Bay Drive and Missouri Avenue in Largo when Willie Lee Daniels fled from an attempted traffic stop, ran a red light, and struck an ambulance transporting a 70-year-old transplant patient from Tappan General Hospital to Largo Medical Center. Daniels was traveling so fast and reckless that he caused the ambulance to flip, and the driver of the ambulance suffered life-threatening injuries. So we'll go ahead and play this video.
14 Charlie 1050.
Go ahead.
Charlie vehicles fleeing eastbound 5-4.
Golf 30 Tiffany.
County Golf 30, you're going to 1094 Armor Terminal.
Golf 45.
10-4.
Golf 30, he's about to flee.
Copy.
Harbor 2 Charlie, just take off from me.
Alpha. As when they're fleeing southbound 49.
Copy, can I get it? 49 and 54, or 5th.
That's good, 251 decimal.
Copy.
Demand 27 Delta, running Echo Charlie. It's Black Infinity. I'll be flying here. North of the 19 at Dimmitt. Yeah, it's Black Infinity. Fleeing. Single black male driver.
Alright, I'll be listening.
Oh, it's dipping. I'm going for the pit.
Florida tag Alpha Sierra 03 Indigo Juliet 103 Charger.
He's about to flee. Watch out. Stop. So much, Charlie.
It's on a silver Honda Elantra. Harbor 2, they're fleeing. Going southbound McMullen.
Green Beach 1 Alpha 1050. Bell Boulevard 174th. It's gonna be a motorcycle, no tag. He's fleeing.
It's fleeing.
Go ahead.
Holmeston Road and Railroad Ave. Florida Bravo 0 Tango Echo Papa. It's a black BMW. It's a hatchback and it looks like it's going to be flying. Going back east.
Copy.
Go get, not sure what's 51. Parallel, I can get in front. He's high rate.
Man, he's still blacked out, passing 12th Street. I know we're on Bravo, so if we can get some of these. Oh, and he's going to lose it right here. He crashed. He's crashing. 62nd.
All right, 10-4.
We got all occupants on the street.
51.
So I showed you a lot of video clips because it's happening a lot. The one on your left there is the still photo from the crash on 62nd Avenue when the kid was killed, and the one on the right's the ambulance that flipped a couple of weeks ago. The main reason why people flee and attempt to elude the police is because the driver is drunk, somebody's possessing drugs, they got a suspended driver's license, or they have an outstanding warrant, and sometimes because the car is stolen. And there's a simple solution to the problem. If you violate the law, don't run from the cops, and most importantly, don't hurt or kill someone because you don't want to be accountable for your actions. Fleeing and eluding is a felony in Florida. The answer to stopping people from fleeing and eluding is not, as some agencies have done, is to loosen pursuit policies and chase more. All chasing more does is cause more injuries and more death. Remember, the number of deaths from police pursuits increased 40% between 2019 and 2022. So the answer here in Pinellas County is to cause a consequence that matters to people who flee from the police and causes them to stop the nonsense, stop running. So effective next Tuesday, June 11th, anyone who runs from a Pinellas County Sheriff's deputy when directed to stop will have their car seized and forfeited under the Florida Contraband Forfeiture Act. So making this real simple for everyone, if you're directed to stop by the police, stop. If you don't stop and you run, we're going to take your car and we're going to sell it. You won't have your car anymore, and you won't have the opportunity to run and endanger others' lives. So here's how it's going to work. If you own the car and you're the driver and you flee, we will get you stopped or find your car later. And whether that's a day later, a week later, or a month later, we'll find you, we're going to arrest you, we're going to find your car, we're going to seize it, and we're going to sell it. If you're driving a car that you don't own, a car that belongs to someone else, a family member, a friend, then you will cause them to have their car seized and sold. Your friend, your mom, your dad, your brother, or your sister will lose their car if you run from the police. So if a car flees and the owner is not the driver who fled, the owner will be provided with written notice that a specific person who was driving their car committed the felony crime of fleeing and eluding in their vehicle. They'll be told that if the same person does it again, then we will seize their car and sell it. So the message: everyone needs to be responsible, and if you're given a written notice that a person you let drive your car ran from the police, don't let them use your car again, and if you do, and they run again, then it's on you, and you're going to lose your car. The same thing applies to rental car companies. Now, I'm just going to tell you the way it is that there are some rental car companies out there that cater to those involved in criminal activity, especially drug activity. People rent cars from these rental car companies, they engage in drug dealing, and they run from the police. We find the car abandoned, we impound it. The car rental company sends someone to pay the tow fee. They take the car, they put it back in the fleet to rent again, and the cycle repeats itself. Many of these car rental agencies know exactly what's going on. These car rental agencies need to be good corporate citizens and help us stop this nonsense of people running from the police in rental cars. So if someone flees from us driving a rental car, we'll serve the rental car company with written notice that the person committed the felony of fleeing and eluding in one of their cars. And if the person does it again, then the car they are driving at the time of the subsequent fleeing and eluding will be seized and subject to forfeiture proceedings. So the message to rental car companies is: be good corporate citizens. If you're put on notice that a person fled from the police driving one of your rental cars, don't rent to that person again. If you do, you run the risk of losing your car. We're implementing this new vehicle seizure program because the situation with people disregarding the law, fleeing from the police, and putting others in harm's way has to stop. 1,042 incidents for the Pinellas County Sheriff's Office alone since 2022 means it's out of control. Police pursuits are dangerous and should be reserved only for the most egregious situations. So the best way to get this excessive running from the police to stop is to take the cars of people who do it and sell their cars. So this is real simple. If you own a car and value it, don't run from the cops. If you own a car and value it, don't loan it to someone you know runs from the police. If your business is renting cars and you value your cars, don't rent them to people you know run from the cops. So beginning next Tuesday, June 11th, we will take steps to make Pinellas County a safer place to drive. So that's what we're doing. Does anybody have any questions?
Sheriff, do you know of any other law enforcement agencies who have put something like this into effect, and what results did they see?
I don't know anybody that's done it. I think we're first. I don't know of any place in the country that's implemented a program like this. I don't know of any other place in the state of Florida that's implemented a program like this.
Sheriff, what statute allows you to do this? Is it based on a new law as well?
No, it's not new law. It's something we're taking advantage of. So under the fleeing and eluding statute, it says that any vehicle that is used to flee and elude is deemed to be contraband under the Florida Contraband Forfeiture Act. And under the Florida Contraband Forfeiture Act, this is allowed, this is permitted, this is authorized. So it's taking the two statutes, it's taking the Florida Contraband Forfeiture Act, it's taking the fleeing and eluding statute, and putting this program together.
Sheriff, what does the department plan to do with the proceeds from these sales?
Do what we do with everything that is authorized under the Forfeiture Act, donate them to charity, put them into kids events, put them into public service initiatives, those things that do good for the community. They're not going to be used to supplement any operating expenses, et cetera, is that we'll donate them to good causes in the community like we do with other things that we seize, proceeds from other things we seize. We're not going to put them into service. We're going to sell them and, again, send a message. And there's an easy solution to the problem. If you don't want to lose your car, don't run from the cops. This isn't hard. And people need to stop, they need to listen, and those who are enabling it or allowing it, by allowing these people to use their cars, just don't do it. If you know, and again, you got fair warning. This isn't, if you own a car and you loan it to somebody and you're put on notice that this is what they've done, just say no.
Sheriff, what part is, go ahead.
Is there any worry that this will lead to more vehicle thefts?
No, I'll tell you what it does lead to, and I'm going to tell you right now, and for anybody that's listening and watching and hearing this, is don't play this game. What it's going to lead to is that people are going to erroneously claim their car was stolen when it wasn't. So don't play that nonsense with us, because if you claim, because what they're going to claim is that, well, I loaned my car to so-and-so, but I didn't really loan it to him. Oh, my car was stolen. So if we find out that you report to us your car was stolen, because obviously if a car is stolen and somebody engages in fleeing and eluding, then we're not going to take that owner's car because it's legitimately stolen. That's not fair to them. But what I'm concerned about is what's going to happen is that as a way around this, some of these people are going to, it's a friend, it's a neighbor, it's a boyfriend, girlfriend, whoever it is, are going to say, oh, well, I didn't know my car was stolen. Well, if we find out that you made a false police report, then you're going to jail for that.
Sure, will the vehicles be compounded while the alleged crimes are adjudicated? Can you explain that process?
So we will seize the car, we'll file the petition with a court, and the car will sit during the litigation proceedings for the forfeiture. So yeah, a car could sit for a very long time, could sit for a year. People always have the opportunity to concede, if you will, in the proceedings. But because it's a vehicle, we have to proceed with court action in order to get the vehicle titled so that we could sell it and dispose of it. So it's going to happen where it does take time, yes.
More of a technical question, do you have the space for that amount of cars?
We'll make the space, okay? There's nothing, this is important. This is a big deal. And that's why I showed you the video. And I only showed you, it seemed like a lot, but I only showed you a handful. This happens every single day. It's ridiculous. And so I don't care what it takes, is that we are going to make the roads of Pinellas County safer. We're going to make people safer. We're not going to allow people to be put in harm's way just because people want to run from the cops because they don't want to be accountable for their actions. And just like we saw a couple weeks ago, you had a 70-year-old guy that's being transported from Tampa General to Largo Medical Center to get a transplant. And this guy who didn't want to stop is hauling fast northbound on Missouri, blows the light at East Bay, flips that ambulance. That's wrong. So, we'll make the room for the cars. That's the least of my problem, the least of my concern.
What role does license plate readers have in your pursuits and looking at cars like this?
They're going to have a role in it because when these cars are subject to seizure, So somebody runs from us, and we aren't able to get them at the moment because they got away. And we're going to take the tag and we're going to put it in the license plate recognition system. And so that means it's going to be a complete force multiplier. So that means the cops throughout the county, if they see that tag or that tag is seen by the license plate recognition system, will be able to stop that car and seize it.
So does a deputy have a license plate reader in their car that will read a license plate instead of calling it in?
Yes.
And how does that work?
So every single one of our cruisers is equipped with a dash camera, and those dash cameras have license plate recognition built into the cameras.
To clarify that written notice policy, does that apply even if the driver is the owner of the car, or only if it's a different owner?
Only if it's different. So if the driver is the owner and they run, there's no notice required. Excuse me. We have to show that the driver is the owner. And we can show that is that we'll seize the car immediately. There's no prior notice required. If you're doing it and you own the car, you're going to lose the car. So, here's your notice, is don't run from the cops. I mean, this is real simple. This is pretty black and white. There's not a lot of gray to this. And you can see from these is all these people are doing this intentionally. They're doing it deliberately. They know what they're doing. They make a decision to run. Well, we're going to make a decision that you're losing your car.
Sheriff, you mentioned reasons why people might flee. Any idea what's behind this increase? This is a huge increase nationwide.
Yeah, because quite honestly is that they're doing it with, a lot of them, too many of them are doing it with impunity because there's no consequence for it. And they know in so many of these, because we're trying to do the right thing. We're trying to do the right thing by the community by not endangering people with these police pursuits. So when you have over 100 a year and these high-speed pursuits that are going throughout the county, in the most densely populated county in the state, it is dangerous. It's putting people in harm's way. It's putting our deputies in harm's way. So we've been trying to do the right thing, but a lot of times, quite honestly, they know that we're not going to chase. So they just figure they can get away with it. So we got to put some skin in the game. There has to be consequences, and let them know that they can't do it with impunity anymore. So I think that's why we're seeing an increase, quite honestly.
Sure, you mentioned the license plate readers more kind of passively looking for these cars. Will there be any additional resources allocated to kind of go out and actively look for them?
No, we don't need to do that because, again, with the deputies out there, and if a deputy had a car run from them, they'll know it. So if they're patrolling the same area, they see the car without the license plate recognition system alerting them to it, they could stop the car. We find the car parked in a parking lot, we find it in an apartment complex, etc. We're just going to seize the car. So the deputies will have the ability to visually see the car and then take action. And the LPR system, or license plate recognition system, is just a massive force multiplier that will alert us and alert them so that they can take action, because, again, they may not know because it was another deputy a week ago that the person ran from. So, but as far as, we don't need to, it'll all fall into place, I think, by itself.
The rental car companies you mentioned, are they local rental car companies or national?
If a car's in Pinellas County and there's a rental car office in Pinellas County, we're going to serve notice on them. So it doesn't matter who it is. It could be any of the national companies, local companies, regional companies, and this also applies to people. There's a lot of apps that have popped up where people will rent their cars to others. Same thing applies. In those cases, again, we're going to treat those as where it was an owner who didn't have knowledge. And so we're going to put the person with Toro or some of these others, that we're going to put them on notice. And this person, they ran from us, it's your car, here's a written notice of it, don't rent to them again. And if in the name of making a buck, you rent to them again, and then they use your car and they run from us, you're going to lose your car. So, everybody's got to step up in this a little bit and be responsible.
Would you say that the ambulance collision was the motivating incident for this policy change?
No, I got sick of seeing it. And this was already in the works before the ambulance incident, because I see it every single day. And in the reports we get, the daily summaries from patrol, I see it every day and sometimes multiple times a day. And I'm sick of it and tired of it. And there's no excuse for it. again, this is a deliberate, intentional, knowing act. This is no accident. This isn't I made a mistake. This is I'm getting the heck out of here because I don't want a consequence for my action and the crime I'm committing. Whether I got dope, whether I got a stolen car, whether I got a suspended driver's license, whatever it is, I don't want to get in trouble, so I'm just going to run and do this nonsense. And that's the catalyst for it.
A lot of these kids are teens. How do you reach them? Some of them are probably still in high school and committing these crimes. They don't watch the news. How do you reach these kids?
Well, I guess if the kids don't own the car and mom and dad get put on notice that the kid ran from us, or whoever owns the car gets put on notice, then we're saying to the community, everybody needs to contribute to solving this problem, and don't let that kid drive the car again. If a kid owns the car, then again, we don't need to provide notice. The kid made the decision to do this, then the kid's going to lose the car. So, I'm not worried about it. What I am worried about is this. That's what I'm worried about. And I don't see any more of it.
What if you're not able to identify the driver? I know you said you provide the name to like the family member or something. What would be the procedure there?
Well, if we can't identify the driver, quite honestly, then there's nothing we can do. If the driver's not identified, in the majority of the cases, we're able to identify the driver, and through a number of different investigative methods. Some the deputy can just visualize and can see the driver, knows who it is, and some of these people are running from us time and time again. The deputies know who the people are. They see the car. It's a game of cat and mouse, and these people will run from us without even the deputy attempting a traffic stop. So without even activating emergency equipment, they see the cruiser and they just take off, and the deputy just says, the heck with it, because they know what the consequence, and they know we don't chase for it. And some of these people too, is that what makes it dangerous is even in that situation, when we don't chase and we don't pursue, is they still engage in that very, very dangerous, reckless, high-speed driving, because on their own, without even being chased, is they're trying to get away from us because they don't want us getting close. Whether we're chasing them or not, they're engaging in this because they're trying to get away from us. In fact, this wreck up here, the ambulance wreck up here at East Bay, Missouri, the deputy wasn't even close in the vicinity. The deputy was way far back. He tried to get stopped over here on Ulmerton Road. He came eastbound, made a northbound turn on Seminole Boulevard, and was just flooring it and gunning it. The ambulance was only doing 35 miles an hour because they had a 70-year-old transplant patient in the back. He blows the red light, and the deputy isn't even around because he's trying to get away from us. All right, thanks everybody, appreciate it.